Welcome to Be Ablaze. We're lighting a fire in you to move you from ordinary to extraordinary, living out your blaze for life. I am your host, Polly Hamp. Let's be ablaze. Everywhere you look, someone is telling you what to do with your body. Don't eat carbs. Wait, eat those carbs. Only eat meat. No, don't eat meat. Cut out the cheese. Do HIIT. Actually, don't do HIIT. Count calories. Stop counting calories. Intermittent fast. Don't intermittent fast. If you're exhausted just hearing that, like me, imagine what your nervous system feels trying to live it out. Today, we're going to be talking about the real cost of not thinking differently about your health and how the constant noise, rules, and contradictions are keeping you stuck, overwhelmed, and disconnected from your body's wisdom. We are going to spend a lot of time today talking about your mind and your nervous system and your belief system so you can finally find peace in your health journey. So here's the problem. Confusion is the new normal. Health has become a loud, chaotic marketplace. I don't know if you're ever on social media and it's just your algorithms or all of these different health things, all of these different workouts, all of these different coaches. And I'm not saying they're bad. There's just a lot of noise. And it speaks to the confusion of the mind and the body. And you start living from survival and all of the fight, flight, freeze. And then you start watching all of the social media posts that are now, how do I make this cake? And how do I make this pie? And what about this cheesy, gooey meal? And you're like, oh, that one feels better. That one feels more familiar. I'm going to silence the noise of the health world because I don't know what to do. Everyone speaks confidently in this marketplace, even when advice contradicts the next person. Just like you're being told, be a vegan, be a carnivore, gotta walk 10,000 steps a day. No, you gotta walk 15,000 steps a day. Be sure to use red light therapy. Be sure to do this. Make sure you're in the sauna. Make sure you're doing this. All of this noise that keeps you stuck. This creates confusion, shame, and constant second guessing. Your brain and nervous system interpret this as danger. I don't know what to do, so I'm just going to freeze. So, confusion isn't a personal failure. It's a sign that your body is overwhelmed by conflicting information. And it is constantly in our faces, constantly reminding us that we're not enough, constantly reminding us that we need to do more, and then we get stuck. Why don't diet rules work? Diet rules bypass the nervous system and go straight to control. Control never creates long-term change. It creates rebellion, burnout, and shutdown. I spent a lot of time talking about this in the TDA course, the TDA Think Differently About Health course, when we spend a week talking about moving from dependence to independence. And it is this place of when there's control, the nervous system and the mind automatically create resistance against it. And we wonder why we stay stuck in a loop. When you follow a rule that doesn't fit your body, you end up feeling broken or undisciplined. And you get frustrated at yourself. It's laden with shame and personal disgust. But the truth is, your body wasn't designed for someone else's rules. And you are designed to connect to your body and know your body in a whole new way so you can learn what is best for you. The hidden cost, the deeper layer most people miss, is that there is a mental and emotional cost to this whole noise diet industry world. So there's constant self-judgment, shame spirals when you quote unquote mess up, and feeling like you're always starting over. That whole yo-yo diet thing, the whole I lose weight and I feel great, and then I can't keep up with the strict rules and I feel shame, and then I binge or I purge, and I always feel like I'm starting over. And that is your mental and emotional cost. It also has a nervous system cost. Chronic fight and flight around food, exhaustion from trying to do it right and get it right all the time, and dysregulation from diet cycles. You know, that up and down, and your nervous system is shot. And what happens is that your body and your mind and your nervous system stop trusting you. And so it stays in this cycle, in this loop of resistance, frustration. I'm going to try again, and even more shame, because you can't get to where you want to get because of all the noise. There is a physical cost to all of this. There's a metabolic confusion, hormonal imbalance, stress responses that sabotage health goals, and loss of trust in your own hunger, fullness, and energy signals. So let's camp on this for a second, because this one is really important. All of it is really important. The mental and emotional cost, the nervous system cost, the physical cost. Because when your body is metabolically thrown off, when your body is hormonally thrown off, and the stress responses and the cortisol that's flowing through your body and the dopamine desires and the hits for familiar, literally, it's like having the flu. Your body is dysregulated. Your body is so confused where it doesn't, again, what I said earlier with the nervous system cost is it doesn't trust you. When you start having literal physical consequences because of the yo-yo dieting, because of the you eat healthy for a little bit and then you throw it all away because you can't stick to the strict rules of whatever diet you're deciding to do. And your hormones are out of whack. Your metabolic rates and everything are out of whack. And your nervous system is shot and your body doesn't trust you. And it makes it even harder to get back to the healthiest version of you because of all the internal physical expressions of what's going on. So when you have the loss of trust in your own hunger, fullness, and energy signals, then your body is in a state of confusion. Let's spend a little bit of time now talking about the cost of identity, the identity cost. You start believing, I can't be trusted with my body anymore. You disconnect from your own wisdom and you outsource your power. When you start disconnecting from your body and you start seeing your body differently, you start literally, I've had people say within the Tada transformation course so many times, it's like, I wasn't even aware of my body. I stopped paying attention to it because I felt like it was the enemy. I felt like there was something so wrong with me that I can't be trusted with my body. And so literally I separated myself from my body. And it's in this time and in this work that you're doing the mental, emotional, physical shifting to understand, to reconnect with your body, to fall back in love with your body. Remember, I always say you cannot hate yourself to health. Loving yourself to health is the only way to be able to start regulating your nervous system, your metabolic system, your hormonal system, your identity system, every part of you. And when you start doing that, all of the things that are out there, the different ways of eating, the different ways of exercising, those become consistent with your belief system, and your identity begins to grow around that. And you make choices instead of from control and dependence on this better fix my life to an independence of confidence and connection to who you're truly created to be. So this is the root of the problem. Not the food, not the workouts, but the fear-driven, rule-driven system. So I am going to take a second to talk about why you have got to think differently about your health and how Tada will literally change your framework. So instead of asking, what diet should I do? You ask, who am I? It is an identity question. You also ask, what does my body need? And what supports my nervous system today? When you start asking those questions, you're moving automatically from the survival part of your brain to a connected part of your brain, because you're not asking it from a place of fear, a place of shame, a place of hopelessness, you are implementing curiosity. You navigate your nervous system first. Your body heals when it feels safe. Safety leads to consistency, and consistency leads to transformation. Let me say that one more time. Your body heals when it feels safe. Safety leads to consistency, and consistency leads to transformation. This is why Think Differently About Health works. This is why TDA works. This is why I created this. And it is proven to help people navigate all of this in a way that brings life and hope. It aligns with biology, not willpower. Then when you have a body partnership, you stop fighting your body and start working with it. You learn signals, patterns, needs, and cues. Remember, I talked about being disconnected from your body and what happens when you are disconnected from your body and you have set it aside literally and you feel separate from yourself and you wonder why things aren't working to get your health in the best alignment as possible. Because when you stop fighting your body and start working with it, you learn its signals, patterns, needs, and cues. And then you have personal wisdom over external rules. This is my favorite part. This is that true move from dependency to independence. And your body becomes the expert. You get to choose. This is that power. Control or choice. Control or choice. When you remove choice, you remove love. And we are called to love ourselves to health. And that is the only way that you will truly transform, the only way you will truly become connected to your mind, body, and spirit in a way that you live fully alive. When you start connecting with choice and making choices from a place of a new identity, of a new way of seeing your body, a new way of paying attention to your nervous system, a new way to pay attention to the physical expressions of your body, then from that, you can start looking at all of the different options. Maybe only eating meat is exactly what your body needs. Maybe being vegan is exactly what your body needs. Maybe doing HIIT workouts or doing bar or doing Pilates or walking 15,000 steps a day, maybe that is what your body needs. However, when it is all the noise that is throwing, this is going to fix it, this is going to fix it, do this, do that, do this, do that, do this, do that, and you're exhausted and your brain goes into survival and it creates confusion and frustration and you shut down until you start asking the question, who am I? What does my body need? And what supports my nervous system today? And when you start doing that, your body starts trusting you, your nervous system starts trusting you, and your body comes into an alignment. And then from there, you have curiosity. And from that place, you make choices. So let's talk about what thinking differently looks like day to day. When you start thinking differently about your health, every day matters. So you become conscious of your body's needs. You start eating when you're actually hungry, and you eat without guilt. And you eat to sustain your body, not to survive, not to just live in the scratch the itch and numb yourself or try to feel something. It is to satiate your body, to give your body energy. And you love your body so much that you make beautiful choices to heal your body when you start paying attention to that. You choose foods based on how your body feels, not off of rules. You start creating rituals you can actually sustain. And this is that place that is, okay, I'm going to try this. I'm going to be curious about this. That's what's so fun about this is it is an experiment. And when you go through it and to it and with it in all the ways with curiosity, then it becomes something that's really interesting and fun to discover. And you could shift your mindset to that discovery thought process
and start making choices from that place. Some of the things you might do, you try, you're like, oh, yeah, no, this one does not heal my body in the way that I thought it might. And instead of having shame and feeling guilty and then going back into the old loop, you're like, okay, let me adjust it and see what happens. See how curiosity opens up possibilities? See how just that shift in thought process and awareness becomes more of an adventure instead of shame and all of these have tos. And from that, you start creating new rituals. So you're allowing yourself rest without shame. When you start thinking differently about your health, you understand resistance instead of fighting it. You recognize what resistance is. You recognize, oh, wow, I am so pushing against this. I'm so rebelling. I'm so fighting against this. I wonder what that is. Sometimes the very thing that you resist is actually the thing that you need. However, if you force it from the downstairs part of your brain, from the brainstem, from the fight, flight, freeze, if you force it from that place, then you're not going to grow. You're going to stay stuck in a loop. But if you enter it again with curiosity and you look at the resistance and go, not today, resistance. I'm curious when I shift and try something different, what's going to come and what's going to happen and what am I going to experience that's new, and make that a new way to journey through resistance. Then recognizing trauma patterns that sabotage change. This one's important, and this one actually takes some time when you're adventuring into this new way of thinking and thinking differently about your health and loving your body to health. You're going to notice patterns that come up, but pay attention to them. And when I say pay attention to them, that means you have the opportunity to stay consciously aware. It's, okay, I've had a crappy day at work and I get home and I'm so exhausted and I decide I'm not going to do my meditation. I decided I'm not going to go for a walk around the block. I'm stressed, I feel triggered, and I am going to eat all the things in the fridge. And I even stopped by the store because I didn't have anything in the fridge. And you notice a pattern of sabotage. And it doesn't have to be just food. It can be alcohol. It can be doom scrolling. It can be, sex, porn, different things that numb you, that keep you stuck in an old loop and an old pattern of shame and guilt. Those are information. And if you look at them as information, then you can start looking at the patterns that create that default of going back to an old self that you're no longer wanting to be. So instead of having shame about the choice that you made in the self-sabotage, start recognizing the patterns and pay attention to what triggers that state of wanting to go back to the old self. And then make a plan to shift it. Make a plan to go, okay, I recognize this pattern. And before the next time it happens, you've already made a plan of what you're going to do when you start feeling that old pattern wanting to come up. And when you do the TDA course, the Think Differently About Health transformational course, you are taught how to make those choices, how to create new scenarios in your mind and in a thought process to when those moments come up, you are ready to navigate them in a different way. Then building trust with your body again. As you do all of this, your nervous system, like I've said a few times in this podcast and several other podcasts as well, your nervous system starts to trust you, which means your body starts to trust you, which means your mind starts to trust you. And from that place, you start making choices of trust, where you trust yourself. And even if you make an old choice that is, oh my gosh, I can't believe I did that, you're not going to have an expression of that choice with shame anymore, because you're going to look at it and go, this is information. This is a pattern. I'm going to look at it and see what happens. And as you do that, your body trusts you. And you build trust with yourself. And more and more and more times, wow, that was bad grammar. But every time you do it, it builds more trust and more consistency with yourself to where the choices that you continue to make in the future are so much easier to do because you're doing it from a place of trust instead of distrust. So you do not need another diet. You don't need tighter rules. You don't need more pressure. What you need is a new way of thinking, one that honors your story, your nervous system, your healing, and your body's unique wisdom. Because the real cost of not thinking differently about your health is staying stuck in a system that was never designed to help you thrive and grow. If you're ready to stop the confusion and reclaim your body, your choices, and your freedom, this is your moment. Your body is ready. So let's think differently about health together. My name is Polly Hamp, and I'm so glad you joined me on Be Ablaze today. Please be sure to follow me on all of my socials, like and download this episode, and subscribe to all of my channels. And I cannot wait to see you in the Think Differently About Health community. I hope you have a blazy, beautiful, fiery day, and I will see you soon.
Thanks for tuning in to Be Ablaze podcast. If today's episode sparked something in you, don't keep the fire to yourself. Follow, like, download, and share it with a friend who needs the fire. Let's keep blazing trails together. This is Polly Hamp, and I will see you next time.